I work with Electron stuff, which is why I'm on the Flash Centre stand, and I'm only going to show you kit that I use. There's no point in me explaining anything else. I want to kind of have a bit of credibility and say, right, this is what I use, this is why I use it. But what I want to do is take you through something that I've been doing for a few years now, and I hate to say the phrase when people say, oh, this was a game changer, but pretty much it was, all right? When I first started out doing the photography, I started out as a retoucher, so I kind of like grew up using Photoshop, and I worked with agencies at the BBC and Sky. I then moved over into doing the photography. And when I was doing photography, I mean, back then, which we're talking 11 years ago, something like that, everybody wanted to be a photographer, right? Everybody did, and that's pretty much, you look around today, it's so accessible, isn't it? It's the cost of photography, generally, to get into it has come down, so everybody wants to be a photographer. So the problem with that is, and this is the issue I had when I first started out, if everybody wants to be a photographer, and I would like to do this because I really enjoy it and I want to make some money out of it, how can I separate myself from everybody else? How can I just do, what can I do that can just raise me above the shoulders of everybody else so that I get noticed? From having been in amongst this world of noise, what can separate me? So I tried everything. Initially I would look around, what are people doing? Well, it seems like there's a lot of people using one light. Right, I want to be different, I'll use two. So I would buy another light. And then I'd see other people started to do these two light setups. Right, okay, so I need to think on my feet here. What can I do that's different? I'll do three lights. So it went on. I was a gift for tradespeople at shows like this because I could walk around and show me the latest gadget that would be the game changer. I'm like, I'll have that, and away it went. But I ended up, in effect, to having a garage full of shelving and a camera bag that was just gathering dust of stuff that I'd maybe tried once, and that was it. So then I kind of started to rewind, saying, right, what is it that I can do that's going to make me stand out? And really, when I looked at it, I started looking at other photographers' work that I absolutely loved. And these are people that are way, way, way at the top of their game. People you definitely would have heard of. Annie Leibovitz. You know, everybody in the photography world, I would suggest, has heard of Annie Leibovitz. You know an Annie Leibovitz picture, all right? But then there's other photographers like Mark Seliger. You will have known, even if you don't know his name, you will know his work. Because if you're on social media, just after the Oscars have gone on in the States, you'll start to see pictures of celebrities being posted. They're more than likely Mark Seliger that he's done them. Because the celebrities get their award, they do their speech, and they come off backstage, go round this kind of alleyway to a set that has been made for Mark Seliger. They sit down, quick snap, and he posts it. And I love their work. Another one, a guy who was around in the 40s kind of time, he's now since passed, but a guy called Yusuf Karsh. Beautiful, beautiful photography. Now when you look at it, these folks have been around either, you know, many, many years ago, or they're around now and they're still being talked about. What is it about their photography? They keep it simple, all right? They keep it really simple. So many of these people that are way at the top of their game are doing something simple like Rembrandt Lighting. That's what they're doing. Now to me, when I first started out, you say you should do Rembrandt Lighting, I'd be like, get out of here, that's way too confusing. I never thought I'd be talking about lighting patterns and stuff. That was just like, that's way too airy-fairy for me. No, I just put a light on them, I'll meter it, that'll do. But then you start looking at it, and I'm at the stage where I'm really enjoying doing this Rembrandt lighting. So I want to show you, if you don't know how to do it, I'm going to show you how you can do it. And it is so incredibly easy. But I think, and maybe this is a UK thing, because I didn't really have much to do with the UK industry when I started out, because I found it very, if I said the phrase cloak and dagger, do you know what I mean? It was like, I can't tell you my secrets. So I found that the US, which is where I did a lot of my stuff, were very open. The US, and in particular Germany as well, incredibly open about what they teach. But I want to show you how you can do this Rembrandt lighting, and you'll be really surprised. If you don't know it, I guarantee if you stick around, and that's not a, you know, catch that you must stick around, but if you stick around, when you walk away within this half an hour, you will know how to do Rembrandt lighting. 100% guarantee it. 100%. If you already know it, treat it as a refresher. Simple as that, all right? So I want to take you through that. I'll take you through what kit I use, the background here. Let's have a quick talk about the background. This here is it's by Light, the guys over the back there. I've never used these until this weekend, but I am going to be getting one because I don't have my studio anymore. It was a waste of money. I move around a lot and I need to keep my footprint small. And these things just kind of fold down and pop up really easily. That there is a new one. Anybody heard of Joe McNally? That's his particular line of background. So I'm going to be doing a picture of Lewis down here. Real simple shot, Rembrandt Lighting, one light. Because that is now all I use. If I have to use more than one light, I'm kind of annoyed with myself. So if I can, I'll use a reflector instead. Because this is what the greats that I follow and I love and I collect all their pictures, that's what they use generally, is one light. Go onto YouTube and type in Annie Leibovitz behind the scenes. I guarantee pretty much 99% of the times you'll see them using an Octa, and a lot of times it'll be an Octa from Elinchron, because she might use different lights, but they don't have the modifiers that these guys have got, so she has an adapter and she'll have an Elinchron modifier, possibly the 135 centimetre Octa, and you'll see them just doing it all the time, the 135 Octa. So, right, I have got something else, I've got something for you as well, but let's have a quick look at the lighting first of all then. So, this is the light modifier that I pretty much use 99% of the time now. This is a 100 centimetre deep Octa. I would say probably until November, December time last year, it was the 135 Octa, the roughly 50 centimetres. It's not as deep as this one, it's probably about there. Now I told you I'm at the geeky stage now where I'm looking at lighting patterns, and I'm noticing now with a deeper softbox it gives me a deeper kind of look to the picture. It's weird to explain, but if you saw one with the 135 and one with the 100 next to each other, you go, oh yeah, I can see it. The lighting looks creamier. I'm at the stage where I'm calling lighting creamy, but it looks creamier. The blacks are deeper, but it's still a beautiful soft light, and that suits my style. All right, so that's what I pretty much use now. Now, those of you who maybe aren't so familiar with studio lighting, what you generally have, and this you're getting this now a lot with modifiers that you can get for your speed lights, because they've kind of adapted them now for use of speed lights. But what you generally have is this material here, which is the diffusion material. For those of you who don't know, what happens is, in here you can see we've got the flash head, we've got the light there, sorry if it's too bright for you, but what happens is, that's a pretty relatively small light. So to make this a nice soft light, we have these diffusion panels. So the light goes off, it hits that first diffusion panel, and it lights it all up, which really is making that light source bigger. And that kind of slows it down a bit, makes it a bit softer. It then has to go through another diffusion panel, which is even bigger, and it lights that up. So this small flash head is now a nice big light source for us. So I always generally, for my style, at the moment, I use both of these panels, I like that. But I take it to another level. I don't just hate that phrase, you hear that a lot, don't you? Another level. Have we got that? Here we go. Right, this is a deflector. Now you'll see these a lot. You've got like a beauty dish over there. You'll see these used in beauty dishes. And there's different discs that the guys do here. They've got silver, gold, there's like a translucent one, we've got this one as well. And this is the one that I use. Now the thing with the Elinchron lights is you've got like a little hole, and if you can just see it in there, that's where you would ordinarily slide an umbrella in, okay? But we can use this as well. So what I tend to do now is I will put in, and again this is only my own taste, I'll slide that in. Now when you look at that, imagine taking off these diffusion panels, we've pretty much got a very big beauty dish now, haven't we? So we can actually get more uses out of one modifier, rather than thinking, right, I need to buy a beauty dish. Well, try it like this first, get some deflectors and try it. Do you like what it does for you? If you really like it, well then go and buy a beauty dish. But, you know, this is cheaper to buy, they probably hate me for saying this, but this is probably cheaper to buy than going to buy a beauty dish first of all, using it once and then it gathering dust. Get it when you know you need it, alright? So what I will do now, if you think about it, we've got the deflector over the flash head there, the flash head goes off, it hits that deflector and then comes back. It then goes round the modifier inside, then hits the first diffusion panel, then hits the second diffusion panel, beautiful soft light. And that's my own style. So that's what we're going to have just there. Let's just put these over there. Alright, okay. Another kind of me, and it's not a sales point here, but what I like about these modifiers is, once you put them together, that's it. So many you have to take all those little rods out and it's not pain. They've got this like patented design here where you literally, once you put them all in, you go snap and then it's opened up and that's it. When you want to close it, you just pull the pins, it closes down in a bag and away you go. So it's kind of handy. You don't have to look an idiot trying to put your stuff away at the end of a shoot. Alright, so there's that. Okay, I've explained the background. Imagine now this is the workspace that I've got. A lot of times it could end up being this kind of size. But let's now look at that Rembrandt lighting. How do we get that? Well, let's break it down really simply, step by step. We're going to use a light meter. Just out of interest, put your hand up if you use a light, no, if you've got a light meter. Keep your hand up if you use it. Be honest, honesty, all right. These things here, I started off in the digital world. Some of you maybe only started when the digital was around. I thought these were for the old boys. You know what I mean? That this is from the old days. But my God, this here helps me. It takes the technical side of the photography, which for me was the hard bit, all the numbers and dials, but that was the bit I was really kind of stressing out about. This helps me with it. Because I can use this without even picking up my camera and I know I'm on the money. It's just very, very easy, all right? So what I can do with this is, I mean, this, you don't have to get one like this. You can get some real basic ones up to the advanced ones. This one here allows me to trigger the light from here. I can change the power and all that kind of stuff. It's good if you're like me and you're kind of 46 and above, because now I'm kind of at that stage and I go bending down to pick things up, you like hear noises, like this. Now I don't need to do that because I've got this here. But if you've got one that won't trigger the lights, I used to just take the trigger off my camera and I'd do this and I'd have one in one hand and one in the other. Do you know what I mean? So, but this is just really, really handy. So what we're going to do then, we are going to take a picture of Lewis. We'll keep the settings really simple. Because you have a starting point, okay? So we're going to go for 100 ISO. The lowest we can go, nice clean file, as little noise as possible. And on today's sensors, 100 ISO, super, super clean. 100 ISO, let's go for a pretty much middle of the road kind of shutter speed, 125th of a second, all right? So 100 ISO, 125th of a second, and I like a fairly shallow depth of field, let's go for f4, all right? I don't have to stay at that, but it's a good starting point. So all I'm gonna do then with this is I put in the shutter speed of 125th, 100 ISO, I'm gonna come over here to Lewis, put it by his face, do this and see what we get. Now we get 5.65, so it's pretty much over, but I can come in now and I can just dial it down. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, roughly, something like that. We hear a beep, put it onto there. Oh, 4.02, so it's only 2/10 over. I'm kind of happy with that, so it's pretty much on the money. So, I haven't even picked my camera up at this stage, all right? And this is, for those of you, actually, who here does it for money? Who here does photography to make money? That's a few of you, so who here does it just because they enjoy it? Everybody should have their hands up. Do you know, just because you earn money, you can still enjoy it, you know? But that's how it used to be with me. It's like, oh no, all I do now is photograph for everybody else. I can't enjoy this anymore. Get yourself a project, all right? Get yourselves a project, a personal project that excites you. So when you're photographing other people's work, you can look forward to the day when you're working on something for you that gets you back to the day why you got into this in the first place, because you enjoy it and excited and stuff like that, all right? But imagine now that you're my client, all right? And we're chatting away. How much confidence would you have in me now if the first picture I take, forget the composition, but the first picture I take, exposure-wise, is on the money? Your confidence is going to go like that, isn't it? But even if you're not working for somebody, how stress-free does it feel to know that the first shot you take, you're like, right, we're there. Now I can just do what I want to do. This is just by chance I'm wearing a dark top, but I used to kind of, my favourite colour was blue, and I used to wear light blue t-shirts, but by the end of a photo shoot a couple of years ago, it would be a dark blue t-shirt. I'd be sweating like you wouldn't believe, because I was just like stressed out, taking a picture, testing it, oh, it's not ready, it's not right, it's not right. But now, slow down, light meter, game on. So let's just take a quick shot first of all. It should come through onto here. Let's just check if that's going to give us a shot there. So in the camera then, 125th, f4, 100 ISO. Exactly the same as what was in the light meter, all right? So we'll just take a very quick shot of Lewis, just to see what we're going to get. So you can see there, again, forget the composition, but the actual, we've got black and white. We don't want black and white. Let's go to normal. There we go. So you can see there, I mean, it's the screen itself is maybe a bit contrasty, but you can see there, exposure's good. Now, what have we got here? When we look at the setup, again, we're going to break down this Rembrandt lighting so you can go away and you can nail this, all right? Lewis is sat down. In fact, Lewis, just come a little bit further forward for me, just for a sec. Let's take one more shot of that, just to show you what I mean by this, just to illustrate it. So looking just straight towards me. I'm going to take a quick shot. So, when we look at the position of Lewis and the position of the light, he is perfectly side on. The light is perfectly side on to him. So, we're going to get this here, aren't we? One side of the face lit, the other side in shadow, commonly known as split lighting. Now, that's not what I'm aiming for now, but that's not to say that this kind of lighting doesn't have its place. Because certain pictures you do will suit that. And you will have seen these kind of pictures, right? But we don't want to do that. But this is a great starting point for us to learn how to do Rembrandt lighting. So now we've got that, and for those of you who don't know, Rembrandt lighting, pretty much what you've got is one side of the face is predominantly lit, the other side is in shadow, except for a pattern of light on the cheek, under the eye, on the shadow side of the face. All right, that's what we've got. So how can we now do that? Because we've got it kind of there at the moment. But what I'm going to get to do is I'm going to get Lewis, actually, if you just come back a bit. Now, ordinarily, I've only got Lewis to go back because we're limited on space. But what I'm really doing is I'm moving this forward. All right, but I've moved him back, but you know what I mean, right? So he's kind of moved forward. So now, what we've got is this. Originally, the light source was perfectly side on to him, which gave us this lighting here. How can I now get it so I'm getting some light on this side of the face? Really simple. You could use the modelling light. What you see is what you get, right? If you're seeing some of that modelling light hitting here, you know you're going to get some light on that side of the face. But what if you haven't got a modelling light? Or you don't want to use a modelling light? Or maybe you use these little AA battery strobes, where you've got like one of these new kind of soft boxes you can put onto it. I know you haven't really got a modelling light in there, unless you do that little button where it pulses really quickly and does a strobe effect. Well, that's going to drain your battery. So how can we set it up without using a modelling light? Incredibly simple. And I'm actually going to get one of you to come up and do this in a minute, all right? And it's those of you who don't give me the eye contact usually get picked on, right? Anyway, so here we go. All I'm going to do is this. Let's move the camera out of the way just for a sec. I move the light further forward, all right? And what I do is I get Lewis to continue looking in the direction where I will be photographing him from. All right, so just look straight ahead from me, Lewis. And then what I do is I just get myself in. At the moment, the light is still vertical. I come in really tight to the light source, really tight. And I look straight across at Lewis whilst he is looking in your direction. And if I stand here and look straight across, and from that position with my head tight against the light source, if I can see this cheek, so can that. It doesn't get any easier than that, does it? All right, so let's just say then, let's say I stand there and I only just about see that cheek from that position, but I want more light on it. So what do I need to do? If I want more light on this cheek, I can only see a little bit of it, what do I need to do with that modifier? Bring it further this way, all right? Because let's face it, if I'm here and I only see a little bit of it, how would I see more of Lewis's cheek? Well, I'd kind of come back a bit. Oh yeah, I can see it now. So I do the same thing with this. So I just move it back a bit. So we'll do it again. So let's just come from here. I'll bring it a little bit further. So now I can see even more of that cheek. The more I bring the light this way, the more, really, if you think about it, the light's got arms, the more it can reach around and get hold of him and light him all up. If it's kind of like too far down here, it's kind of going, I can't get round you. But if it's out here, oh yeah, I can light you up now. I can see more of you. Okay? So we've got that. Right, so let's just go with that for now. Let's just see what that's going to give us. And once you practice this again and again, when you go to do the lighting on the people you're photographing, you don't have to go through these stages. You just know where you're going to put it, you're going to stand next to it, yeah, we're on the money, let's go for it. Right, so let's take a shot now. So we know we've got the split lighting. What is this going to give us now? And all we've done is move the light that way, all right? In fact, one thing we need to do, let's be a good boy. Who did woodwork at school? Measure twice, cut once, all right? So we've moved the light. When we move it, let's take a meter reading. Let's keep that shirt nice and light blue, all right? So we come in, and we'll just take a quick meter reading. It might have changed. If it has, now's the time to test that. So 2.89, only a tenth below, but I will bring it up just so it's pretty much where it was before, something like that. You hear the beep, it says it's ready. Now let's take a shot. So what have we got now when all we've done is move that light forward? So again, Lewis just looking straight to me. And take a shot. Split lighting becomes... So now we're starting to see, we're not where we want to be yet, but we're starting to see light on there. Can you see that? Just by moving the light forward. And how easy was that? Really simple. So now we know we're getting in there. Pretty much, that's kind of nice. Can you see how there's this line here? See the line going down? And it comes up. We can finesse that now. We can start to play around with it. What I might do now with this one, I know that the position, this is far enough forward now for what we want, but let's now start to play around and tweak it. This is where the practice comes in. And on that note, go to eBay, if you haven't done already, type in polystyrene, check how you spell that, polystyrene mannequin head. They're less than £5. Order yourself one, get it to come to your house. A white polystyrene mannequin head. Just literally, it is what it is. In your garage, put it onto a light stand and just use that to practice this on. So when you've got a real living, breathing person in front of you, again, the technical side is easy. You're doing what you should be doing of working with the person rather than ignoring them and going, oh God, I can't seem to get this right. You all drive, I take it, right? When you first started, mirror, oh God, honestly, it's biting points, oh God, you don't even think about that now. That's the stage you want to be with this. Not even give it a second thought, all right? Okay, so we're kind of far enough forward for this now. Let's kind of change it up a little bit. What I'm going to do is angle this down just a touch. And we'll also look at raising it up. So we'll go with something like that. I'll keep the distance pretty much the same, but let's just twist this round a little bit as well. This is what you can start to do now to finesse it. The hard work's done. Now you can play, all right? Again, we've made a change. We've moved it around a little bit. But let's now see what this is going to give us. So can take a meter reading, 2.84. Just a little bit of movement has changed it. So we'll come in and we'll change the settings there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That should pretty much give us F4. 4.01, check it out. Hey, that's not a transfer, that's real, all right, that's real. Dead easy, dead easy. All right, so now let's have a look at the difference. Let's see what that's given us there. All right, so again, Lewis looking towards me. That's cool. All right, so that comes through. It'll be slightly different. You might notice a little bit more light on that cheek. Now, see that's a little bit brighter? The background's a little bit brighter because I twisted the light towards it. If you didn't want that, you would just twist it this way a little bit. So rather than having the dominant amount of light hitting your subject, you'd get this feathered edge. Now the feathered edge is slightly less power, so you might find because you're using this edge, you might need to up the power of the light. But it's easy, right? You just take a meter reading, what do I need to do? I don't like all this kind of test shot. That stresses me out. And also, it kind of takes my attention away from them. I can do all this and be chatting away with no issues now because I've done it so many times. And another little note on this is I'm not looking for the next best thing. I would say that all of you, whatever you're doing, whatever style you're doing now, don't look for anything else. Just master what you are doing. Okay, just master it and then just nail it so that eventually you're going to stand out because people go, that is really good. So who wants to be average? Just practice over and over and over and over and nail it. You don't need to be always looking for the next best thing. Your style, there's nothing new in photography. I forget who said that, but your style doesn't have to be your lighting, does it? Your style can be the way that you post-process your images. It could be the colouring that you do. You look at someone like Joey Lawrence, when he was 16, photographed the Twilight movie series. He did all the advertising at 16. Sick. But I mean, you look at his pictures, you know a Joey Lawrence picture because of the colorizing. He's got like an orange and teal look to it. You know it's a Joey Lawrence. You look at headshots. There's a guy I know in the States. You may have heard of him, Peter Hurley. Now, what Peter Hurley does, it's nothing new. It's nothing magic. He photographs headshots on a white background. How many people are doing that? But you know a Peter Hurley headshot because of the expression he brings out. He's nailed the technical. Doesn't think about it. His style is what he brings out in the person. All right. So we've got that. Now let's take another couple of shots here then. So we've got quite happy with how that's looking with Lewis. The thing about using a light meter as well is, I remember ages ago somebody said to me, yeah, but if you use a light meter, isn't everybody's lighting going to be the same? They're missing the point. You can get to where you want to be the very first shot you take, completely stress-free, nice and relaxed. Once you've got it coming in, your style might be that you go, do you know what, I prefer it brighter. But you're only taking one shot to get to where you want to be, aren't you? You might say, I want it like more moody and more kind of like low-key, so you bring it down. But you've taken one shot to get you to that point. Stress-free, easy, whatever. So I'd highly recommend you do that. Another thing I do as well, tripod. I absolutely love using tripods. I'm always looking for ways to kind of, not necessarily say, right, how can I guarantee I'm going to get a nice sharp picture, but ways of helping me to relax and to slow down and to calm down. Because I think with the digital world, more so than the film world, is that, you know, because it doesn't cost us anything, we're like, dang, 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 taking loads of pictures. But slow down, you know what I mean, just slow down. Let's have a look what we can get here with Lewis. Let's try and get a bit more of a kind of more detail in the actual shot here. So I actually got this tripod yesterday and I'm really liking this, I must admit. Right, so let's just bring this up a touch. And I want to drop it over. So I'm just stepping your way just there. Now I'm not going to play around with the settings or anything like that. Don't need to, I can move away, but now we've got it all locked in, should be pretty good to go. So let's take another shot here of Lewis. Oops, missed that. Actually, that's quite nice. Let's take another one there. Okay. That was a mistake, Bob. So we're going for a 3/4 kind of shot, something like that. Now, because we're limited on space, little things that I will do later on. I mean, the lighting. I love the lighting. Okay, I mean, it's just so simple. Detail. So that's why I moved to Sony, all right? But we're not here to talk about that. But something like this in Photoshop now, what I would look to do is, I don't like it being so tightly cropped, but I want my sensor to capture, I want to get my money's worth out of my camera. So as pretty much near as damn it, I want all the sensor to be getting him, capturing the detail. Now if I want to make this a slightly different crop, I've got space here. In Photoshop, very easy for me now to use the crop tool and expand out a little bit, and hopefully use something like content-aware fill or content-aware to sort of like expand this a little bit, maybe make it a square crop, or maybe put a little bit here and a little bit more over there. Very, very easy to do, all right, very easy to do.